and I've only been affiliated with Safe Harbor about 2 months ago. I met Jim Phillips at a meeting where he was talking about the foam clothing, and lights went on and bells and whistles in my head, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And the next day he called and said, can I come and talk to you? And I said, yeah, sure. And so he came over to where my business is, and I told him about myself, and he asked me questions about what I do, and what I do is I help people in party plans to be more successful. And so he said, my CEO Keats is going to be calling you. And so the next day Keats called me, and he said, we've decided that the way to reach our mandate, the way that we need to reach people is through the party plan. We prayed about it. That was our answer. And we said, but Heavenly Father, we don't know anything about having parties. This is just the furthest thing from what we do. Help us. And he says, 12 hours later, Jim met you.
Wow, that is amazing.
And so here we are, and we are kicking off the party plan preparedness parties that we're going to be having. But what we are doing today is what we've called Preparedness Connections. I'm not really selling anything other than I'm going to tell you about the products we offer and about Safe Harbor and the things that we have that you can do. A way of life in America right now is you turn on the tap, and what happens?
There's water.
Water comes out. You flip the switch, and what happens?
There's light.
There's light. Open the pantry, and what's inside?
There's food.
There's food. You run low on things, what do?
You go to the store.
Okay,
I'm good at
you
this.
turn on the burners, and
There's heat.
there's hot, right. You dump the scraps down the garbage disposal, and it what?
And they go away.
Yeah, they go away.
disappear.
You put the dishes in the dishwasher, and what happens?
You clean.
They come out clean. Life is great, isn't it? Woohoo! And life is great. But things happen. Today, we've just had big storms. Down in southern Utah, flash floodings. In the years past, homes washed away. What happens with an earthquake? What happens? What happens if we have an earthquake in January? How will you stay warm? How will you keep your family warm? What are the options? Safe Harbor was started because we want to help you have a future without fear. That's what Safe Harbor is all about. It's been created to fulfill the purpose of helping anyone and everyone who so desires to secure a more hopeful life in this complex and perplexing world. We don't know what will happen. Do you know when an earthquake will hit?
No, I've lived here for 30 years, and they told me we're going to have one, so.
But it hasn't happened yet.
Not yet.
But it could happen tomorrow.
Any day.
We don't know when it will happen, what will happen. So why Safe Harbor? The name of the company, Safe Harbor, a place of refuge and protection from the storm. That's what a Safe Harbor is. The word alliance, Safe Harbor Alliance, is the actual name of the company. An alliance is a group sharing and advancing a common cause and purpose. So that is our goal. We want to bring together people in an alliance, people in communities, to build a situation where people can work together and build together and learn how to be safe and learn what they're doing. Now, the creator of our company, our co-owner of our company, is a guy by the name of Jim Phillips. And you say you're aware of Jim Phillips, but for the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead with the presentation. Jim Phillips is just absolutely awesome. And like I said, I just sat there in awe as he was talking about what he'd been through and how he developed the foam clothing. And not only foam clothing, but preparedness in general. He's one of the world's experts in self-reliance, preparedness, and extreme conditions, and he teaches and trains us how to do it. Jim Phillips has lived in the Arctic for 3 weeks with no heat source at all. He has found a way, figured out a way to do it. He's absolutely
Can you
amazing.
bend that to the camera?
You
Yeah, so I can see it. Thank you.
You bet. He's walked the talk. He's lived it. He's done it. Every product that we have in our system that we offer has been tested by Jim, so that I went to a preparedness fair just last weekend, and I walked up and down the aisles, and it was like, how do you know? How do you know what what's going to work? How do you know what's going to be best? How do you know what's going to stand the test? Well, that's what Jim does. His information about him, you can find it all on our website. In his current professional activities, he does trainings. He does the Winter Without Worries series. He does the Winter Safety Made Real. He actually takes people to what he calls Snow College. Snow College is up in the Sinks in Cache Valley, one of the coldest places in the West. He takes people who have developed their foam clothing, got their foam clothing already, and he takes them up there to actually live and survive. And I just met a lady the other day who had gone on one of his trips up to the Sinks to be there and be part of it. And she goes, it is the most wonderful thing because it opens you up to being able to know that you can do it and meet the challenges. Again, on the website, there's all kinds of accomplishments about Jim. He has been in this preparedness business for a long, long time. He actually invented the PAL system of clothing back in the 60s with his father. He's the inventor of it. He has tested it, and he's tweaked it and made it better and better and better as more things have facilitated what he has. Now, Jim has a belief in what he does, and it's called the knowledge formula. And basically what it is information plus experience equal knowledge. And you must have that knowledge. Knowledge is more than just book learning. It's the information, it's what you learn, plus the experience of actually doing it. In his DVD, right here, this one, Evacuation Kit, he talks about your, quote, 72-hour kits, which we are calling our grab-and-go kits, and that in our grab-and-go kits are put together on Jim's principle-based things that he says that we have to have. There's no fluff in them. There's not an extra, 20 cotton balls so that we can say there's 100 and so many products in the pack, in the kit. It is all principle-based of what he has and what it is for you to do. And what he suggests doing in this is actually taking your 72-hour kit, getting it out. I mean, we talked a little bit in the intro just when you guys were coming in about taking an inventory of what you have. It's very important to do that, to know what you have, to know what you need to get. Because though the most important part is the knowledge and the experience, stuff is important. Stuff is going to make a difference. So it's a combination of those things that make it all work for you. So, with Jim's formula of must-have knowledge, I think this is so good. Knowledge equals information plus experience. Then you know you can handle it. If you don't have knowledge, you don't know what you don't know. It's like, how do I work this fire extinguisher? How do I work this Kelly kettle? How do I work this? What makes this work? How do I know it's going to work? So he says, practice now. Don't wait till an emergency to get out your stuff and practice and learn what you need to do. Break things now. What you want to do is break things now so that you have the ability to figure out how to fix them and what to do with them. Make mistakes now when it's not life-threatening. Make mistakes now. Do things in the dark now. Figure out how to put things together, how to open that radio, how to flip on the light. Learn how to do it now. Don't wait until it's too late. Develop habits and memory now. Now, I was thinking about this, develop in memory now. Any of you guys sports fans?
Oh, yeah.
Any of you like sports? Anybody watch the Olympics? Ever watch the Olympics?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do they do in the Olympics? How do they train?
Oh, for years, their whole lives.
And what do they do? They do it
Over and over and over.
Over and over. Why? Why do they do it over and over and over? If you're a member of a choir, why do you practice a song over and over and over again?
So you can get it right.
Because, yeah, you make mistakes. You work out the
You work out the things,
crinks.
but what happens here?
Muscle memory.
Remember it.
The memory, the muscle memory, the memory in your mind, and the confidence that you can stand up there, whether it's doing a high jump, running a race, singing a song in a choir, that you can stand up there in front and say, I can do this. I know how to do this. I'm capable of doing this. So that's what he's talking about here. Develops habits and memories now of preparedness. Now, have I got that down? No way. I have been into food storage and preparedness my whole life. My mom and my uncle, family were into it. It just kind of was a natural part of the thing when it came to our family, and I was into it. It's what I've always done. But am I as prepared as I should be? Because you know what? I really never learned this before. I never learned how important it was to pull my stuff out and look at it and think, how will I use this? Do these hand warmers that get old after so many years still warm your hands? Is there any heat that comes on? I'm counting on this stuff to save my life, and I don't even know how to use it. So I'm in the same boat as most of you. I need to get on my own bandwagon. I need to be motivated and inspired to take action now. There's a quote that was on the front of our ward leaflet from President Hinckley, and I'm going to open it and find it because I think it was just so wonderful. Bear with me while I do this really quick.
You know, I read a thing one time that they said most people who think they have their food storage and all that are prepared, most of them have never even opened it. They don't even know how anything in it works.
They don't know how to make a meal with it. They don't know what to do with the wheat. They don't know what to do with the powdered sugar, the powdered milk, or the honey. Okay, President Hinckley, get on your knees and ask for the blessings of the Lord. Then stand on your feet and do what you are asked to do. Then leave the matter in the hands of the Lord. You will discover that you have accomplished something beyond price. I love this word, accomplished. Woohoo! You know, I got it done. But does he just say, pray about it and go, oh, Heavenly Father, protect me and do and help me with it? What do you got to do next?
Well, I've heard knowledge is power, but what I recently heard is knowledge plus action is power. Because you can have all of the knowledge in the world, but if you don't apply it, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's not going to matter.
If you just sit back and say, save me, save me. Where's my water? Oh, I was going to fill my water containers, but you didn't. Is Heavenly Father going to just come down and fill your water containers?
I've got to insert something too. So in my 72-hour survival kit, I have these food bars that I bought at the emergency preparedness store, and they're supposed to be different flavors. I decided one day to open one up and just see, you know. It was just a glorified big sugar cookie. It actually made me sick. And I thought, there is no way I could survive 72 hours on these sugar cookies. So now I tell my friends, this little bar that you can buy at emergency preparedness stores, it's just a sugar cookie, guys. You might as well go make some sugar cookies and wrap them up.
Yeah. And the thing is one of the 72-hour kits out there gives you your water in these little boxes.
Yeah.
Little boxes. But then they give you some survival, some sanitation the pellets that you put in the water, but you got to put it in a quart of water. Where's my quart bottle? In here. How am I going to get water into these little things and then break up the pill, put it back in the box? Come on, people. We have to do more than just go buy a 72-hour kit and think, I've got it made. I read a review on the internet the other day. It was for a 72-hour kit that had those little bottles, the little boxes of water, kind of like the juice things that your kids drink and stuff. And the lady said, I haven't opened mine yet, but I'm sure this is going to do me in an emergency.
You see, that's what I'm saying. They don't know. They really don't know what's in there. How many people have ever, living here in Utah, we don't have super cold winters. How many people have ever really used those hand warmers? Do they know? Do they know how they work? Do they know of the dangers of them? And
exactly. And those blankets, those thermal blankets.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to get one of those and bring it with me today, and I forgot.
I don't trust those little
But
those space blankets.
My kids,
Yeah.
a while ago, we had a 72-hour kit in our van. Our kids got stranded at a football game. After a game, the van wouldn't start. They got stranded at the game, and so they were waiting, and all their friends had left, so they had nobody to jump them and get them home and stuff. So they're waiting for us to drive over the Bear River in the middle of the winter. It was cold. Well, it was, you know, late fall. It was cold. And they got out one of those little blankets to try and stay warm. And they said, Mom, these things are worthless. They don't keep you warm at all. We're not radiating any heat here. So you've got to think, what is it you have? Get out what you have and see what you need. And we are going to have something really special going on with Safe Harbor. We're actually, it's coming online shortly. It's going to have a program that you can actually go in and put what you have. This is safe between you and Safe Harbor. It does not go out to the world. We don't sell your information or anything like that. But it's a way you can go in and evaluate what you have. First, you got to take inventory. What do I have? And then you go evaluate what you have and put it on, and it will give you ideas of the things that you still need to get in order to have a well-rounded. Now, speaking of well-rounded, Safe Harbor has 9 modules for preparedness. We believe that there are 9 key areas that need to be addressed when thinking about survival in an emergency. These are what we refer to as the modules, okay? We've broken it up into 9. Why do we do that? Because the way the brain works, the brain likes to give you, if you give the brain a structure, then the brain knows where to put the different things in the structure. It comes along with your knowledge, and it also comes along with physically what you have and how you prepare. So the 9 modules are designed, and we're going to specifically go through those really quickly in a minute, to give you this place to go through. So the 9 modules, and I'm going to give you a handout that's got all this on it, is first of all the foundation, and then it's clothing, water, sanitation, nutrition, shelter, wellness, and tools and supplies. Those are the 9 modules that we're going to go through right now, and I'm just going to give you an idea of some of the things that fit within these modules and hopefully kind of wake you up to some things that you've never thought of. I know some of them I had never thought of. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have the 9 modules of preparedness. Okay, the first module is the foundation. This is your attitude, your knowledge, and your experience. Now, why is attitude important?
Because this is never going to happen.
Difference
Yeah.
does attitude make?
It's the difference between life and death. I have seen people survive horrible tragedies when they had a good positive attitude. Come on, we can do this. We can work this out. And other people go, I'm going to die. That's terrible. You know, and you see that over and over on shows.
So attitude is extremely important, just in the fact that if you have a good attitude about preparedness, you're going to want to get prepared. You're going to want to take things. You're going to want to find out about these things. And the attitude is going to be your attitude when you get in a survival situation. You're going to want to survive it. You're going to figure it out. Instead of just laying down and go, woe is me. Okay, Heavenly Father, where are you? You're going to say, okay, we're going to figure out how to get this done. So the first is your foundation, and then comes knowledge and experience. That's what we're talking about, what I talked about earlier, is bringing that information and the experience together to create knowledge. And then getting more and more experienced about it, because if you know how to do one thing, then sometimes, I mean, my husband is a real mechanical guy. He knows how to do mechanical stuff, and I can go, honey, I don't know how to make this work. It's broken. Fix it. And he'll go, well, that wire, okay, because he has a knowledge and experience, and I don't want to either, because I love being able to go to him for that. But when it comes to preparedness, when it comes to preparing a recipe, when it comes to making things go, our knowledge and experience is going to help us know how to, if we don't have this, what can we substitute for that? How can we make that work? Oh, we could try this. Oh, this idea would work here. Oh, this would work. Oh, yeah, we could try that. All of these different things are going to come together if we have knowledge and experience. But that doesn't happen by just sitting back and doing nothing. How does it happen? You read about things. I'm listening to a book now called 1 Second After. It's about an EMP. What happens in this country if an EMP strikes? And most people aren't even aware that it's a major concern of government is an EMP. If our entire power grid goes down, oh my heavens, are we connected to these things? I mean,
Well, don't leave it. And people.
you know, I mean, it's kind of scary what will happen if it is an EMP, but it can be other things. There can just be a power outage somewhere that creates a ricochet effect of power going out. We could lose our power grid for days to weeks at a time. How will you survive if that's in the middle of January? So the first thing is this attitude, creating the knowledge, getting the foundation. And that's why what we have at Safe Harbor is all kinds of DVD training that you can actually purchase so you can watch it over and over again. We have a lot of additional training on our website. It's free. You can go and watch and learn and tell your neighbors and tell your friends, because the more people that are involved, the more people that are becoming aware and gaining this knowledge, the more people will be able to help each other. And you know, you kind of look at it as if my neighbor has one more thing, it's one less thing they're coming to me for. So if we can prepare our neighbors, the more we can prepare, the better. Okay, clothing. Your personal portable shelter. The idea with this, and I had never thought of this, it's always a big concern of mine. With this over here, if we have an earthquake in January, how will you and your family stay warm? If you don't know about the clothing that I'm going to talk about today, how do you stay warm?
You know, I find that interesting that you say that, and I'm glad that your company teaches that, because I've been to some seminars in this, and not all of them do. But you think about it, how many young kids that go to school and don't even take a coat.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and wear shorts and T-shirts in the winter.
Well, I have sons that did that too.
To school.
That's why I bring that up, is because
I used to leave a coat at school.
I used to tell my kids, "Don't you want a jacket?" Well, no, Mom, we're fine. But even now you see young kids never a coat, jacket, nothing.
Well, your personal portable shelter, clothing, and you'll notice this is key number 2. This comes right after getting your foundation, is clothing, because this is vital. People will die of hypothermia generally within a week if something happens in the winter and you have no form of shelter. Now, I asked this question when we did a booth at the fair, and people would go by and I'm asking them questions and stuff, and I would say, how are you going to survive winter? How are you going to stay warm? And he goes, oh, I'll go to one of the government shelters. I don't know about you, but that's really not the place I want to go. But I have always been concerned about this heat thing. We have a supply of wood. We have wood-burning stoves in our house. I have 12-foot ceilings in my house. I've often thought, how am I going to keep us warm? Am I going to hang up plastic around? What am I going to do to keep us warm? Because I didn't know about this clothing. And it's been a concern of mine. And also, when you think about it, I had one lady who said, well, we'll pitch a tent inside the living room and we'll keep the heat in the tent. And I think, how long can you live like that?
Well, not only that, though, is your quality of life. You're going to be stuck around that heat source. So what about having to go to the bathroom? What happens when you're hungry and you're out of your 72-hour supply stuff?
Play this the rotating turkey.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to shiver. So it's just, it's not very comfortable. So I learned about this stuff, and I knew that was my answer personally. I
said, I learned about this, and bells, lights went on.
It opens up doors that are... Because everybody else is going to be stuck there in front of their heat source, and you're going to be able to go out and chop wood or gather things or do whatever and go about your life.
Well, they're going to have their little silver blankets. Like, I'm sorry, that was me.
That's so true.
They should make dresses out of that, or outfits or something.
There's a joke that used to go around years ago, and I've thought of it in relationship to this, and the joke says, I have one nerve left and you're on it. If we're all trying to live, a whole family living together in this little tight space for days on end.
It could be weeks or months.
Days, weeks, months. Who knows how long? How long can you keep little kids wrapped up in a blanket? How long will they be happy?
About a day.
You know, not
about
even
an hour.
that long. That you can keep a 4-year-old wrapped up in blankets? Okay, so I'm going to explain the foam clothing to you. This is so vital that I'm going to actually take a few minutes and explain what it's all about and why it works. It doesn't take long. The principle is absolutely astounding. I'll get back over here. Okay, this is foam clothing. Okay, this is a size that's probably smaller than what would fit me, but I'm going to put it on just to show you. Okay, go around. You all feel it. I know you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
You're familiar with it. Okay. So what is it? How does it work? It's based on the law of physics of your body and naturally what physics does. And it's supposed to fit you snug and you're supposed to be able to zip it up. So obviously this one is too small for me. But the way it works is your body is constantly putting out moisture, okay? When it puts out moisture in the summertime and a breeze blows, what does it do?
Cools you down.
Cools you down. If it's wintertime and you're putting off moisture and the wind blows, what happens?
Makes you cold.
Makes you cold. Shiver cold. Okay, so what Jim realized is the law of physics, the way the law of physics works, is that moisture, based on the law of physics, will move from where it's warm to where it's cold. So the moisture on your body, if it's allowed to, will move from warmth to where it's cold. So the foam clothing is a porous material. It allows the moisture to move through the foam to the other side and out. And it dissipates into the air. And people look at me and go, it's really that simple? And I go, it's really that simple. These are called TJs. They're thermal johns. You wear them next to your body. If you're LDS, you wear Gs, you wear mesh Gs. If not cotton, you don't want anything cotton because cotton's going to absorb the moisture and not let it move through. Otherwise, you just wear your underwear and this over the top. Then you would wear protective clothing over the top, something polyester type material. Over the top just to protect the fabric so it doesn't get snagged and dirty.
So this is your underwear, you're saying?
This is your underwear. This
That's
is
your
like
underwear.
Your thermal underwear, basically. Only it's a half-inch thick of foam. Why? Because the foam keeps the heat in. So this allows the heat to stay in, the moisture to move out. And you're comfy and warm. You can live in 10 degrees in this, day in and day out. You don't take it off. You go to bed in it, but you can shelter in your home in it and survive and be comfortable. Now, here's a quick example to kind of show you why it works and how it works. How many of you have been dressed up in your normal, expensive, fancy winter clothes and still had cold hands and cold feet?
Yep.
Anybody had that happen?
You see, I was raised in Idaho, in Ashton, Idaho, and I know what cold is. Sorry. So my dad taught us things to do so that we're not the way. Not saying that I've always followed him, but he made sure. I mean, it was just too dangerous. But one winter when I was about 16, it was 40 below for 2 weeks there in big town Ashton, Idaho, and we had one thing on the farm that would start, and that was my dad's tractor because he kept it plugged in because he had to go feed his cows. And you'd have to go out and move them around or they just lay down and freeze to death. But, you know, we really, and I was glad I was a teenager then. At first I thought, will this ever end? But my dad really taught us a lot about surviving in the cold and things that we needed to know. You know, things have changed a lot since then. They've come up with a lot more things because I'm getting old. But but I was really grateful for that winter because several times that winter out there where we lived, our power went out, and you know, but he had it and cooked in the Dutch ovens and that, and he kept the house warm. And I look back at it now, I really was grateful for that winter. Not at the time as a teenager, but I was taught a lot there.
It does. Well, that's where that experience
Yeah.
comes in.
That's experience,
But
yeah.
most people, when they put on their fancy winter clothes and stuff, still have cold hands and cold feet. Do you know why that happens?
Why?
I think one, because the moisture stays in, so it keeps that cold in there, and so you just get colder and colder. And I've noticed that with my feet, especially, when I'm walking around.
Exactly, that's what happens. The body chemistry works the same thing. The body puts off moisture. The moisture moves through that clothing, but it gets trapped between the layers. It gets icy cold, and the coldness radiates back to the body. And the body says, I got to keep my core warm. I'm not going to send blood to my hands and my feet. So therefore, the core is not warm. Now, when I first learned about this clothing, I sat there at that meeting with Jim and go, Jim, if I can't afford to buy the whole thing, can I just at least get something for my hands and my feet? And he said, you're missing the concept here. And I said, okay, explain it to me again. He goes, This is designed to keep your core warm. When your core is warm, the blood will flow to your hands and to your feet. This is designed to keep you warm in a home with no heat. Now, a home with no heat will get down to between 20 and 30 degrees if it goes on a long enough period of time. And the kind of cold it is a dead cold. It's just a deep, heavy, deep cold. And so you want to have a way to keep you and your kids warm. Now, can this be used otherwise? My husband could wear this going out when he's shoveling snow and on the tractor doing the snow and things like that, so that he would have, it can be used other times. So this isn't a survival thing that just goes in the closet and you hang up and you never wear it again. This is something that you can wear on an ongoing situation and basis. So that's what the foam clothing is. It is simply designed as thermal underwear to keep you warm. And there's some other tricks and traits to it. Another thing that you really need to keep in mind is hydration. You need to stay hydrated. The way your body works putting off that moisture, if you're not hydrated, your body chemistry doesn't work correctly, and you will also get cold. So that's just some things to learn about that, how important it is. But the foam clothing is vital to your survival, and the greatest part about it is portable. It goes with you. You're not heating the space, you're heating you. Yes.
Okay, question. So, I don't know how much your foam clothing is, but if some of us are sewers, can some of us just make our own foam clothing from your foam?
Yes, we have kits available with the foam and the fabric and everything that comes with the patterns, and you can purchase that kit and sew it together yourself.
Okay.
If you have the foam from a long time ago, we are also working out ways that we can get it cut out for you and help you get it made into clothing. I've run into a lot of people lately who say, I have stacks of foam, and it's still sitting there as stacks of foam and not made up. So we can help you at whatever stage you are at, because getting your foam clothing for you, where this is the second key, this is the second module of survival, it's that important. And so we want to help you get that. Now, just so that you know about the system, just to kind of clarify here, the PALS system is the Phillips system of keeping you warm. The 1.5-inch foam clothing and the 1.5-inch foam sleeping bag has proven to keep you warm in temperatures as low as 40 degrees below zero with no heat source.
Unless you've lived through that, you have no comprehension of how cold that is.
Okay.
And let me tell you, that is way cold.
It is cold.
Oh,
Jim,
I wouldn't survive.
3 weeks in the Arctic with no heat source, only his body heat in the PALS clothing. Now, this is the 1-inch clothing. What I showed you was the 1/2-inch clothing, okay? Also, part of this system is the sleeping bag, which is 1.5-inch thick foam top and bottom. But it's the coolest thing with the sleeping bag. You literally lay down a piece of plastic, you lay the sleeping bag down on top of it, you get in it and sleep. In the morning, you get up, lift up your sleeping bag, and there is a sheet of ice on the plastic. Because the moisture has moved from your body through the foam to where it's colder. Remember, it moves from where it's warm to where it's cold. Moves through that down to the plastic and freezes. You lift it off, shake it off. They have done tests with the sleeping bags, with these polyfill kind of sleeping bags you get.